Well, now for something a little different. Folks, it was 1962. The nation was still basking in the afterglow of the 1950s cultural and economic boom. Camelot, in all of its glamour, was in full swing. The battle lines between communism and the West were clear and unambiguous. The nation was heading into space, and Vietnam and Woodstock were unfathomable. The future was bright. And on ABC, the future was brought to television in the form of a groundbreaking new cartoon sitcom called The Jetsons. Well, you remember The Jetsons. And according to Hanna-Barbera lore, the patriarch of the high-flying family of the future, George Jetson, was born sometime this week in our very own 2022, some 40 years before the time of the series. There are lessons we can learn from George's world and for our own. Now, sure, flying cars may not exactly be practical, but what else? The Jetsons' home had a robot named Rosie and every labor-saving device imaginable. The automation of the future meant people did little for themselves, including brush their own teeth and get dressed. Rosie even had a boyfriend. Well, folks, we are arguably getting very close to this level of technology now, and even far more realistic. But managing and regulating artificial intelligence and androids is a significant challenge that we have yet to confront, and we need to do it quick. We're also learning that a sedentary lifestyle, where even the most basic activities are handled by some modern technology or convenience, can be taken to an extreme that is at once unhealthy and dangerous. Studies show an over-reliance on smartphones has diminished many people's ability to remember a series of numbers, like phone numbers. I can't remember phone numbers anymore. In George's world, the work week was 2 hours. Well, here in today's day and age, we're still trying to figure out work-life balance in an age of interconnectivity. But in 2022, we're also still learning that work gives people a sense of purpose and is essential to healthy, independent living. Perhaps George's light schedule isn't such a good thing after all. The Jetsons should remind us that technology can be a trap. Misused, it can create a lazy, entitled society that shuns hard work, and that can lead to government dependency and control. To audiences in 1962, George's 110-year-old grandfather must have seemed like a superhuman impossibility. But today, with medical science and healthcare advances, it's not uncommon to meet active people, very active people, in their 90s, and the number of people reaching 100 continues to rise. Perhaps by 2060, living to 110 will be more common. In one episode, you might remember this one, Jane has to persuade George to let her get a driver's license. And remember that? We have made extraordinary progress on the role of women in society as equals. And the advancement of the concept of men and women as true equal partners is critical to overall societal progress. Here, we're ahead of the game. In the Jetsons' world of 2060, humanity had decimated the environment so much people were forced to live high above the smog in cities built on adjustable stilts. The juxtaposition of that 1962 vision of the future demonstrates another bright spot, at least for America. Contrary to the radical left's eco-cultism, we're being far better stewards of the planet than many ever expected. Harmful emissions are down in the U.S., while efficiency, reuse, and conservation are up. Air and water quality have improved dramatically. There are more trees in this country today than when Teddy Roosevelt was president, and we continue to preserve more land. When George would yell, "Jane, get me off this crazy thing," it was part of the slapstick humor of the series. We fantasized what it would be like to have computers and machines run our lives. We know now that technology creates responsibilities that, if not taken seriously, can have consequences that are devastating. Digital escapism is replacing passion for hobbies, professions, sports, religion, and even relationships. It's leading to an explosion of manipulated information and censorship. Just ask the parent of a kid who can't concentrate in school because of too much screen time, or the spouse of a porn addict, or the perpetually tense, paranoid, and dour news junkie, or the depressed, isolated Zoomer who can't establish a personal relationship because of technology's interference. In this regard, folks, we have a long way to go. So, no flying cars or school field trips to asteroids, but on basis, we've taken a number of right paths as well. American optimism, however elusive it may seem today, demands that we continue to strive to be better. better than we are today, and better than the world envisioned for George Jetson. So happy birthday, George, wherever you are. Hopefully, with faith, science, common sense, and of course, freedom, we'll continue to learn from your future to help craft a better one of our own.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. With inflation at its highest level in 40 years and interest rates skyrocketing, your retirement plans are in danger. Well, our friends at American Hartford Gold can help show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Yeah. If you call them right now, they have a special offer. They will give you a free gold coin on your first qualifying order. So don't wait. Call now. Here's the number. 866-935-4309. That's 866-935-4309, or text Newsmax to 65532. That's Newsmax to 65532. Thank you.